Everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are doing amazing. So let's see today's daily challenge on Leetcode and try to solve it together. So we have a pretty easy problem today. So we need to count the number of hills and valleys in an array. So a hill is defined by if I am in an element and my immediate neighbor of left and neighbor of right are closest neighbor of left and right are both less than me, then I am a hill. Then that particular element is a hill. And if both of the closest neighbors are greater than me, then I am a value. Okay, so I need to count how many number of hills and valleys are there in the array, and I also need to take care that adjacent indices I and j are part of the same hill or valley if they are equal. So if the two elements adjacent elements are equal, they are part of the same hill or valley, and then we do not need to count them twice. Okay, so let's try to see this example. Let's try to check this and see how it works. 241165. Okay. So we have this example 241165. Okay. So you see the first element and the last element can never be a part of any hill or valley because they don't have the first element don't have any element to its left. Okay. And for being a hill and valley, we must have elements to both its left and right, and they must both be greater or less than the current. So since the first and last element do not have an element to both of its neighbor, okay, so we do not count them. So we start a loop. We will loop from I equals to 1 to I equals to n minus 1. Okay, so we have this loop. Now what should we do? Is that we should count that how many elements are left. Okay, so what is the current value? My current value is nothing but nums of I. Okay, now I will just check in the loop that if my current value is greater than my previous value, I will store the previous in a counter. Okay, I will store the previous in a value. So initially the previous will be assigned to nums equals to 0, and every time we will update it. Okay, except the times when the things are equal. So we'll check what we do here. So if my current element is greater than the previous and the current element is also greater than the next element, which is nums of I plus 1, then what we do? We just do answer plus plus. Okay, because in this case we have got a hill. In this case we have got a hill. Okay, now what if my current element, what if my current element are both less? Okay, my current element is less than previous and my current element is also less than the nums of I plus 1. So it will be a valley. We have got a valley because my both of the closest neighbors are greater than me, so I am the least one. So it's a valley, and we need to answer plus plus again. But you also need to see that whenever there are equal values, so how will we get that? So we will do something like if nums of I, that is current, okay, is equal to this nums of I plus 1. Okay, then we just continue, right? We just continue because we don't need to count it twice. Okay, we don't need to count it twice, and at the end we will just take care of that this previous value is updated. So that's all we need to do. We just need to take care that this previous value is updated. So how it works? It will first start with the pointer. The pointer will first be at 4. Okay, so at 4 it will check that my previous value, which is nums of 0. Okay, my previous value, which is nums of 0, is nothing but my it is less than me, and the next value is also less than me. So it will do it means if the answer is 0, it will do the answer 1. Okay, it will increment answer. Now when it goes to the next, it also update its previous value to from earlier the previous value was nums of 0, it means it was 2, now it is 4. Okay, so the previous value got updated, and I move to the next element, but I find that my next element is equal to my next element. Okay, so we just continue it. We don't do anything here. Okay, so I directly move here, and now I check that my current element is less than the previous value, and it is less than the next value also. So it comes under this criteria, and it will increment answer in this case. And again, it will just update this previous element. Again, it will simply update this previous element, and similarly, it will go on. It will now go to 6. Okay, it will now go to 6, and first of all it will also update this answer, right? So it will now go to 6. The pointer will now go to 6, and it will check that both my left element and the right element are less than me, so I am definitely a hill. So I will update my answer again, and I will not go to 5 because 5 cannot be a thing, and I will just go to I will just end the loop here till I minus n minus 1, and I got the answer to be 3. That is my final answer, which I got, and output here also comes out to be 3. So I hope the explanation was pretty clear to you. This is a very difficult, easy problem to understand, okay, as well as okay. So you might think that my explanation is very good in the easy problem because it is easy to understand, right? And in the difficult problem, you need to do your thinking part also. Okay. So I can try my best to explain only. So whatever be the case, let's see. Let's see. We need an answer 0. We also need a nums. This okay. So we have this previous element. We start with I equal to 1, right? So we start with int I equal to 1, I less than n minus 1, I plus plus. So we start with this, and initially, since I'm starting from the second element, my previous element is the first one, and so that's why I wrote this. And now I will check that, as I told you. At first, I just need to check whether the elements are equal. If they are equal, so I will just move to the next element without doing anything because they are part of the same hills or valleys, and we do not need to update anything there. We just continue it. And now I check that if my current element, which is nothing but nums of I, is both less. Okay, if it is less than the previous and it is less than this next element. Okay, so if it is less than the previous as well as it is less than the next element, I will just simply increment the answer. Okay, I will simply increment the answer. I will also check that if nums of I is greater than the previous element and the my current element is also greater than the my next element. So in this case, I have got a hill. So definitely, this is a hill and this is a valley. Okay, so in this case also I need to increment this answer. Okay, so that's all, and I also need to update the previous value. Okay, I also need to update the previous value. So that's p equals to n minus, and just I return answer. Okay, so it's quite easy, quite simple. Let's try to run and check. Okay, let's try to run and check and see if it works. Yeah, it got accepted. Let's try to submit it and check. Yeah, it will get accepted too, but do you think we can shorten it somehow? Okay, so these are both the criterias in both of these places we are doing answer plus plus. Okay, so these are not any distinct thing. Okay, we are doing the same operation to both of them again. So we can just remove one sentence and replace it with an or, because if it is, I am telling that if it is a valley or if it is a hill, in both of the cases you increment the answer plus plus. Okay, so this line got reduced. So now you might think that I am, in order to decrease the number of lines, I am just messing it up. I am just writing everything in the same line. But if you try to think, there is something called do not repeat yourself principle. Okay, so in that principle, you do not need to repeat yourself. So in earlier case, you are writing the same if statement, not the same, different if statement, but in both of them, answer was getting incremented. Okay, so you are repeating the answer plus plus line. So in this case, you are not repeating that, and it is also a better principle. Okay, it is a better practice of coding also, following the do not repeat yourself principle. And the interviewer will get definitely impressed by this. So yeah, you have it. It's a really short code and easy to understand also. So yeah, these problems are definitely easy to digest. So yeah, that's all for this problem, and I hope your day also goes as easy as the problem. Thank you so much.